On Point with Craig's Investment Partners.
The information provided here is general in nature and it's not financial advice. It doesn't take into account your situation, objectives, goals, or risk tolerance. All investments are subject to risks and none are guaranteed. Before you make any investment decisions, we recommend you contact an investment advisor. For more information about our services or to view the Craig's Investment Partners financial advice provider disclosure statement, please visit our website, which is craigsip.com. Welcome to On Point. I'm Mark Lister, Investment Director at Craig's Investment Partners, and I'll be talking about a range of topics including economics, portfolio strategy, investor education, and anything else that's happening out there in financial markets. G'day team, hope everyone is well. It was another volatile week for markets as that conflict in the Middle East continued. In fact, it escalated and oil prices rose further. US crude ended the week up about 9% at I think just under $99 a barrel. However, it did push above $100 on more than one occasion. Share markets were down. The S&P 500 in the US fell 1.6%, so it's fallen 5% from its peak earlier in the year, so not terrible, but it certainly has been very volatile. Could it go lower? Absolutely. I think if you see this situation prevail for a little bit longer, and it feels to all of us like it'll get worse before it gets better, you could absolutely see the S&P down another 5, even 10% before things stabilise. And if oil prices settle at $100 or more, or if they push higher, then things could get uglier. And that's not the base case for us at the moment, but it is something we're keeping a very, very close eye on. But where we are today, down 5% from the peak, and the S&P 500 1.6% lower last week. Other markets were more resilient in some cases and less resilient in other cases. The UK and Europe had a better week. They were down less than 1%. Japan fell 2.4% and emerging market equities fell 2%. The Aussie market was down 2.6% and we were down 2.5% here in New Zealand. So generally, weakness everywhere. Bonds are also a little bit weaker. You saw interest rates rise further, and I think that's on the back of nervousness around what this might mean for inflation, what that will mean for central banks and monetary policy. So the US 10-year Treasury yield increased from 4.14% to 4.28%. And here in New Zealand, our 5-year swap rate, which is a wholesale rate, that finished the week 22 basis points higher at 3.89%. And bond yields and interest rates move inversely to bond prices. So that's how that relationship works. The US dollar was up. It rose 1.4% for the week, the highest in almost 4 months. That is normal. When there's a risk-off tone out there, people go to what they know, what they trust, and no matter what you think of the greenback, it is still the world's reserve currency. When you look across those big US share market sectors, there's 11 of them. Only 2 sectors were up last week, and they were energy and utilities. Unsurprising. In terms of some of the key events and releases, US inflation was in the spotlight. We got 2 inflation reports out of the US. We got the Consumer Price Index for February. It was in line with market expectations at the headline level, up 0.3% for the month. The core inflation rate up 0.2% for the month. On an annual basis, the headline CPI running at an annual rate of 2.4%, the core CPI at 2.5%. That was for February, and those annual rates were the same as we saw in January. But the big question is, where does inflation go from here? Oil prices, energy costs are an input into just about every good or service. So if you see oil prices stay at these levels, then there's obviously upward pressure on inflation. We also got the PCE inflation report out of the US. This was for January. PCE stands for personal consumption expenditures, and it wasn't dissimilar in terms of where it was versus forecast, pretty much in line with forecasts. The headline PCE up 2.8%, forecasts were for 2.9%. So it was actually a little bit lower. The core PCE accelerated slightly. It increased to 3.1%. I think it was at 3.0 before that. So still not terrible at 3.1, but that actually was the highest we've seen since March 2024. Looking to the week ahead, and obviously the geopolitical situation will be the key focus for markets, but outside of that, there is an awful lot going on. Central banks will be in focus in the days ahead. We've got interest rate decisions from several of the major policy-making groups. The Fed will be the big one, that's on Thursday morning, but we've got the Reserve Bank of Australia before that on Tuesday afternoon. They are expected to hike interest rates by 25 basis points. Markets are pricing that in to the tune of about 80%. So the RBA on Tuesday afternoon, first cab off the rank this week, and that will be the one that actually does make a move. All of the other central banks, and there's a lot of them, are expected to remain on hold, but we'll be watching very closely for the tone, for the comments, for what they say about the current situation, what they think it could mean for inflation, for growth, and for policy. So the Federal Reserve is the big one. That is out, I think, at 7 o'clock on Thursday morning, New Zealand time, and then you'll get a press conference to follow. So that will be very much in focus on Thursday morning. After that, that same day, you'll get the Bank of Japan. So that's later on Thursday. Thursday evening, you'll get the European Central Bank and the Bank of England. Now, those four all expected to remain on hold. So the RBA is hiking, but the Fed, the ECB, the BOJ, the BOE expected to remain on hold. A couple of the smaller ones as well. You've got the Bank of Canada, the Swiss National Bank, and the Swedish Central Bank. That is where Dr. Anna Bremen, our Reserve Bank governor, worked until late last year. They are all holding policy decisions. So there is plenty going on this week on the central banking front. The Chinese economy, that will be on the spotlight on Monday afternoon. I think 3 o'clock we'll get a dump of Chinese data, monthly activity indicators, things like industrial production, retail sales, a raft of other indicators. Economists are actually hopeful we might see a rebound from that weakness late last year, but we'll see. That will be interesting to watch. And then on the local front, we will get quite a lot actually. We should get that Real Estate Institute housing market report at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. This will cover the month of February. Obviously, the housing market's been pretty sluggish and we haven't seen much in the way of price increases or activity really ramping up. So we'll see where things are at in February on Monday morning. We'll also get the results of another dairy auction. This will be out on Wednesday morning early. Prices are up 25 odd % so far this year. We've seen, I think, 5 auctions in a row that have been positive, and people now talking about a dairy payout that might go close to $10. Fonterra has upped it recently. They had a midpoint of $9 after cutting it a couple of times late last year. Now they're at $9.50 in terms of their midpoint. Be great to see it even higher than that. So we will watch with interest. Then the GDP report, and this will probably be the highlight here in New Zealand. It is on Thursday at 10:45 a.m. Kind of old news because it covers the December 2025 quarter, and now we're sort of in the middle of March, so we're almost into the second quarter of 2026, and the world feels like it's changed a lot in the last 3 weeks, doesn't it? But this will still get a lot of attention. Now, if you look at the Reserve Bank forecast from February, they had penciled in a quarterly increase of 0.5% and an annual growth rate of 1.7%. Now, that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it would be the strongest since the middle of 2023 because we've had a really weak period, haven't we? The Reserve Bank is expecting that to pick up further over the balance of this year. I think they've got the annual growth rate rising to 3.2% in the June quarter. We won't get those figures until the second half of the year, but things are expected to ramp up and get better. We'll have to see how the current situation has an impact on that outlook. But the Reserve Bank picking 0.5% for the quarter. Financial markets are just shy of that at 0.4%, but those would still be pretty decent numbers given how bleak things were last year and the year before that. So Thursday morning, New Zealand GDP will be in focus. On the earnings front, there's a bit to watch too. A few global companies set to announce results. You've got Lululemon on Tuesday, Micron and Tencent on Wednesday, and then on Thursday you've got Alibaba and FedEx. So all of those are local times. Those US companies, it'll be the following day in terms of the New Zealand time. So FedEx won't be Thursday, that'll be Friday. Lululemon. That won't be Tuesday, that'll be Wednesday, but lots to watch throughout the week. I think the focus will really be on the situation in the Middle East. That is what is front of mind for all of us. For me personally, it feels like it will get a little bit worse before it gets better, but I'm still hopeful that in 6 months' time, this won't be the key thing that we're talking about. So cross your fingers that my glass half full view will come to fruition. I did record a podcast episode about the whole situation last week. If you didn't catch that one, go back and look at it. It'll be the episode before this one. I think it was from Tuesday last week. And I wrote a piece about it too. That's on our website for anyone that wants to go there and look. And I think I said this last week as well, lots of my colleagues that are much smarter and better informed than I am have written lots of research on this topic. So it is there for the taking. If you're a Craig's client, just hit your advisor up. We've got lots of material that will hopefully make this current volatile period we're in a little bit easier to manage and get through. Okay, that's all for today, team. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again soon.
For more insights, visit craigsip.com.